All right.
We doing good, bro.
I gotta wait till the end. I gotta use all of them at the end.
Okay, so the law of sines that we were doing last week only works in a fairly restricted situation, right? What has to be true in order for the law of sines to actually work in a problem? You have to have a pair of data. So then that should lead you to the next logical question. Well, what do I do if I don't have that pair? Say then that's when you're going to need the law of cosines. All right. So, oh, did I lose my? All right. So this law is appropriate when there's no pair of data. Okay, so there's no pair of an angle and a side matching up. And I know, and again, you saw this in geometry, maybe for one day, but you know, that was a couple years ago, so. All right, here's how the law of cosines goes. I'll end up writing it down and then I'm gonna put a box around it, and that's gonna be the law that you need. All right, let's start with the cosine of A. When you don't have a pair, this is what you're going to need to do. You take little b and you square it. You take little c and you square it. And you take little a and you square it, but that's the subtracted one. And so this is not quite all of it, but the order always goes that the subtraction is the lowercase letter of the capital that's in the cosine on the other side. Okay, so the subtraction one always has to match that. Then there is a division, so we can cross multiply, and it's 2bc. That's the law of cosines. You'll drop a 1 under the cosine part of it, and you'll cross multiply to solve it in the situation where you would need to solve for a variable. It can come in a different form. It could come in cosine B form. So if it comes in cosine B form, then the subtraction has to be the little b. So in other words, it needs to be a squared and c squared, and then the subtraction is the b squared part. So the subtraction is always the matching side to what you're doing in your cosine. And then the division, what do you think that's going to be? 2ac, exactly. And so then, of course, there's the third and final version of that, cos c. Anybody want to try it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yep, a squared plus b squared minus c squared over, exactly. All right, and this is called the law of cosines. And it works for any triangle, oblique triangle, where you do not have a pair of matching data, where you've got side and a sine matching up. Okay, and that's it. So that's what we're learning today. Then I'm just going to show you how to apply it in a couple different situations. Does anybody still need to copy that down, or you guys all have it? All right, well, let's say an example where you're not given a pair. So let's say A, B, C. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so 14, 19, and 8. You still need three pieces. Okay, you got to have 3 parts. I just have 3 parts that don't include an angle pair. And we're like, okay, so I'm going to use the law of cosines. It doesn't matter which one you do first. Let's just go in order. We'll start with cosine A. So cosine A, which I don't know, would get set up. Okay, what's going to get squared first? the 19. So it'll be 19 squared plus 8 squared minus 14 squared. Now because there's a lot of addition and subtraction going on, you want parentheses around that numerator so that your calculator knows that those all go together in the numerator. Then the denominator would be 2 times what two things? The 19 and the 8. And again, you're going to want parentheses around that. What are we trying to get alone here? The capital A. How do I get a capital A alone? Inverse. And so I'm going to use capital A by itself will be the cosine inverse on the other side, and then big old parentheses around what you had going on. And your calculator is going to do all that work for you. You don't have to do anything except type it in correctly. It does require, if you're going to use your calculator properly, that you know that you need the big parentheses and then 2 sets of smaller parentheses around both the numerator and the denominator. I'm going to pause the recording a minute. All right, so 41.124. Okay, then you can do, I asked you to move on to find B. B would be the cosine inverse. And then you just got to make sure you change the order of what you would have on the inside. So the one inside would then be 19 squared plus 14 squared minus 8 squared. So make sure you change the order on that to have that be right. And you'll have to change the order of the denominator also in order to have B.
Wait, what? Wouldn't it? No. 14 squared.
No.
Because 8.
Oh, right. I forgot which ones were which. We're doing B. 14 squared first. All right, 14 squared plus 8 squared minus 19 squared. All over 2 times 14 times 8, and that would be in parentheses as well. All right, did anybody get that one? 116 point? Okay. Now some of you I saw moved on and you did the same thing with C, which is fine. But you don't have to, because once you have 41.124 and 116 point, okay, you don't need to do that whole process again for C. You can just use 180 degrees and subtract, and you get 22.075. And these are all degrees. Okay, let's try another one that has a little bit of a different twist to it. Any questions on the first one? Everybody seemed to mostly be getting it on their calculator. That one. Okay. All right, here we go.
I'm waiting for the word problems.
That'll be tomorrow. We don't have any word problems. Okay. All right, so here's a different set of combinations. If I give you 115 degrees, and then I give you 15 for little b and 10 for c. So it's a little different. You still have 3 parts, but you don't have 3 sides like last time. You have 3 parts, and you still don't have a pair, and there's no way to get a pair because we would be missing. We can't find, we can't find little a, and so we're gonna have to go to our law of sines, our law of cosines. So we're gonna use cosine.
Use cosine A.
And this time, we'll use cosine A because we actually have a number to plug in for 115, or for A this time. So we'll put 115 there. And then we go b squared, which is 15, plus 10 squared, minus a squared, all over 2 times 15 times 10. This time we're finding something different. We don't need an inverse this time to find, because we're not finding capital A. we are finding lowercase a, which is on the other side. So this doesn't need an inverse, it needs cross multiplication. So drop a 1, and then cross multiply. So you'll have the cosine of 15 times 115 times 2 and 15 and 10. So that actually works out when you do 2 and 15 and 10, that's 300. Cosine 115.
-1.
No, I don't want you to, you shouldn't be using your calculator at all, okay? All right, not yet, not yet. Okay, so 2 times 15 times 10, 2 times 15 is 30, times 10 is 300. So we've got 300 cos 115. I guess you could use your calculator if you didn't know what 15 squared was, but it's 225. And then 10 squared, 100, minus a squared. So you can do the adding. That'll give you 325 minus a squared, and it'll have 300 cos 115 on the other. But I really don't want you to turn anything into a decimal. Okay, because then you round and then you'll get the wrong, an inaccurate answer at the end. You can do the squaring and the adding and stuff, but don't do anything that would give you a decimal. All right, how do I get a by itself? What would be my next step? Say it again. Not divide, subtract 325. So that would be 300. And again, don't do anything. Don't type it into your calculator because that would give you a decimal. Just like show it on paper. What's left on that other side after you've subtracted it? No, negative a squared.
What the heck am I talking about?
Okay, now what do I want to get rid of? Okay, now I want to divide by negative. That just makes the negative in front of 300. And the positive in front of 325. And that gives me a squared.
You take the plus and minus square root of
Then I take the plus and minus square root. All right, so a would be the plus or minus, and now is when you'll need your calculator to turn it into a decimal. So negative 300 cos 115 degrees plus 325. It is.
Wait. I mean,
What happened to the?
3 times, the 2 times 15 times 10.
That's 300.
That's 300, which I cross multiplied. 2 times 15 times 10 is 300. So I basically just replaced. I replaced that with 300 so that I could cross multiply it to the cos 115. All right, so we have plus or minus 21 point, what'd you guys get? 255. Hang on. Okay, so negative, plus or minus 21.255. You only, when you list your answer up at the top, okay, this is side A, we only have to list the positive one because triangles don't have negative sides unless they're drawn on a grid. These are not drawn on a grid. If they're drawn on a coordinate plane, then they might have a negative side. But this one would be negative 25.2, no, negative 21.255. Or positive. I said you're not going to use the negative, and then I wrote it. All right, now, we just have to find one of the other parts. We just have to find either B or C. And then once we have either capital B or capital C, we can use 180 degrees to help us figure out the missing one. So let's go to B. Let's do them in order. Okay, so cosine B. Now we're back to the way that we just did it before. So cosine B would be 21.255 squared plus 10 squared, and then 15 is the minus, over 2 times 21.255 times 10. This time I do need the capital, so I'll need the inverse. So I'll have inverse cosine in big parentheses around the smaller parentheses that I had from before. I hear you, Laura. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, okay? I heard your suggestion. Okay, you should come up with a value for cosine, for the angle. All right, so then we end up with 39.763 degrees, which takes us back up to here. So we've got 39.763. And then we can just rely on 180 degrees to finish off the rest of that one. Okay, so we'll add that to 115. And we should end up with 25.237 degrees. All right, Laura had an interesting suggestion. Once we got our first 2155 right here, and I'll put a box around it, what have we just created? A pair. So at that point, could you switch? And could you go over to the law of sines? Okay. The answer is technically yes, but you will have less accuracy if you are mixing the laws within one problem. So you will lose decimal accuracy. I just think if you're in the law of cosines, then use the law of cosines for all the parts that you're trying to find. Otherwise, you're going to have to round significantly. Like your 21,255, if you're going to switch to the law of sines, then you're going to need more decimals beyond that to guarantee accuracy when you do the law of sines. So I just say, if you want to do that, that's fine, but I usually stick with the law of cosines just so that I have more accuracy as I go.